Ooh, devastation. I wish y'all could have saw me look at that TV last night. I'm a devastation. I just had finished up with the Dodgers. Yay! And then Lakers, not so yay. So, Paul, how devastated should the Lakers feel about that loss?
Oh, man. I mean, because they just coming off an emotional high for the way they got the win in Indiana. Then you come here, you like, okay, they playing well for most of the game. You figure it's a minute left. What they up about, like, it was up a 9?
Yep.
Like a minute ago?
Yeah, and then it was...
then,
up 5 with 13 seconds left.
Yeah.
Up 5 with 13 seconds.
And then when you lose like this is like the emotions it just sucks the whole air out of your body. You know, because you're looking at the schedule ahead right now. You like, all right, you know, we can knock down these two because we got a dogfight going into Memphis, but it don't get no easier, Key. So that's why this loss means so much. And then now we playing musical chairs with the seedings right now. Are we going to be 4? Are we going to be 5? You know, right now they're tied with the Grizzlies, so this next game is huge because now with the way the schedule's looking, what's ahead? They got the third hardest schedule remaining. Man, the Lakers can drop out of that. They could end up in the play-in. They keep playing around.
There you go talking.
They keep playing around, Key. They only 2.5 up on the Warriors. They keep playing around. You got Memphis, Houston, who balling. You hopefully you get the Pelicans, but the Pelicans may be having their nights. Then you got OKC at OKC. No, look. You got to spend 4 days in Oklahoma City where them hotels is haunted. Oh man, it's gonna be
no Rich Carlson.
No, it's gonna be looking all bad for the Lakers.
Should they be devastated, Rick?
No, they shouldn't be devastated. Because I can go through that same list, Paul, and I can give you reasons why they shouldn't be devastated. First of all, I like the way Luka answered the question. He was like, look, it happens. He was with Dallas last year. They got hit by Max Strus hitting a 3-quarter shot to lose a game, right? It happens. And now, should they be concerned? Absolutely, because they've had 2 games where they had a lead and they gave it away. And one, they were lucky enough against Indiana that they won. But these 2 even out. But I'm just looking at the rest of it. The Memphis Grizzlies just fired their head coach.
That's
right?
crazy.
That's who you're facing coming up. The Clippers, well, the Clippers are always clipping. So
don't take these teams light, Rick.
Golden State Warriors just lost Gary Payton indefinitely because he tore a ligament in his left hand.
They've been out without Gary for a while.
So I'm just looking at the circumstances, and there's nothing that was lost permanently as a result of yesterday's game. Now, should they be concerned? Yes, they should be concerned. But devastated to me is like, oh, the house burned down. We don't have a place to live.
That was the equivalent to the house burning down. That game.
No.
That game?
No.
That game.
You know what?
No, the way it ended, though, that was just like a small something just turned into flames quick.
Somebody set the couch on fire. We had to put it out. Now we got to buy a new couch.
Man.
That's it.
That fluke of a game makes us reset because you have one of the best decision makers, not only in the NBA of all time in LeBron. He got real lax turnover.
Leading.
But more than anything, we go into the 4th quarter up 16 points. Fourth quarter started, we're up 16 points. When in the NBA, you would assume that's a win.
100% against a team that if you figure they're a contender, for sure.
But the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. Because the night before we win on a tip in, and then we lose with a half-court shot. So it's like, what is going on? I like our chances. We just got to stay out of the play-in. We stay out of the play-in, we are going to be fine. But to me, it's a wake-up call. You can't take things for granted. You have to really respect every possession, especially once up 16 out of games getting tight. I can't just throw a lackadaisical pass. I got to lock in defensively. And so to me, I view this as a fluke loss. You spoke on this a brief second ago. Thank you, Memphis, for getting rid of a good coach. This is exactly what we needed.
You know, devastation is an interesting word, right? Being devastated.
All right, were you devastated? Let me ask you, were you devastated as a Laker fan?
Man, Paul.
Disappointed.
Put it this way.
They felt just like that. They played the game.
Forget them.
That's what I'm saying.
About me and how I felt?
And they was in the game, so they felt worse than you.
Paul,
so that's devastating.
I'm literally sitting, watching, like I said, I watched the Dodgers finish it up, boom, get them out of here. Then I flipped back. I was flipping back and forth. So now I'm flipped all the way back to the Lakers. So I'm watching it, whatever. We up.
Okay, yeah, we got this.
We cool. I'm watching, but, you know, it's whatever. And then Reeves goes to the cup, boom. Now
Game over.
he acted as though, and I ain't just pointing him out, but he turns around, rather than press, he kind of like just, it's the first quarter. I made a shot, now it's the first quarter. I'm like, somebody get up on this dude. Get up on him. And then when he got to half court and he basically, LeBron tried to close in on him like on a fake little half closeout. I was like, he go. If I say what I said in my house on TV, I might not be coming back. All of a sudden, I hear my son running down the stairs. Well, kids running down the stairs. They ran in. Dad, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, man, the Lakers, you know, they just. But I didn't say it that way. I said some other stuff with it. So, yes, I was devastated. But listening to you, Rick, brings me, you know, gets me back up a little bit for the first time. But I understand who he is. I understand who Paul is. Paul gonna try to make me this small when it really ain't that big of a deal.
I'm speaking. Listen, like I said before, I speak 2 languages. I speak English and I speak facts. Look at this schedule.
I understand the schedule.
Look at this schedule.
I see the schedule.
But there's NBA Paul and there's TV Paul.
There's 9 games left.
I'm hearing,
what's our record?
No,
the
not
last 9
NBA
games?
Paul, Celtic Paul.
Okay,
look.
But player Paul, because Paul, you know, like the whole goal is you don't get too high or you get too low. On win or loss,
I'm devastated last night. I'm not even. I'm a player. I'm not getting no sleep. I'm drinking NyQuil just to go to sleep.
No, they got some different stuff for you nowadays. We don't have to do the NyQuil no more. They got a whole bunch of other stuff that'll knock us out. Because NyQuil was the go-to back then.
You gotta understand, as a player, I couldn't sleep after this.
Yeah, that's true. That part is true.
Man, they got rid of some of them rules for these players. They got some sleep, huh?
Yeah, you can certainly get some sleep. But look, the Lakers got a lot to figure out along the way. So, Rick, the Lakers playing the way that they playing recently and blowing these games, could that be a catch-up problem for us come playoff time?
No, for sure. That's why I said they need to be concerned. And I was curious because I was wondering, did this just start? This we can get ahead, and then we're not the same in the second half? Hey, you got me saying we now. In terms of the Lakers,
see, I can always get you to come.
No, not that far, bro. But so I went back and I looked at the 12 games that they played when Luka first got there. Mm-hmm. 7 of those games, they were outscored. Now, they went 9-3. Okay? They went 9-3 through the 12 games. That's including the Boston game. 7 of those games, they got outscored in the second half. 2 of them, they were even. So there were only 3 games in which they outscored the opposition in the second half. What it tells me is that their recipe for success has been, we need to get out early. We need to build a cushion, and then we hang on. And that recipe does not necessarily work in the postseason. If you got to build a cushion every game because you're not going to be able to play at the same level.
We had a cushion and just gave it up.
But my point is, even when they were winning, it was off of having a cushion every game.
Yeah.
And then giving it back, just not giving as much back to where they lost the game.
Yeah.
If you're not playing, if you can't come into games where you're down by 10, 12, and you can come back in the fourth quarter, like that, you're going to have the ability to do that in the postseason because you're not always going to have a 10-point lead coming out of the first quarter. And that's what they showed early on. So what it tells me is this may be more than just LeBron coming back from injury. This may be something that, whether it's because Luka's not quite in shape, LeBron's 40 years old, they don't have rim protection, like their defense isn't that good.
But why do we keep saying Luka's not in shape? He's been playing basketball all damn season.
That's what I'm saying. We keep making excuses. We got to stop making excuses. I ain't never seen nobody out of shape give you 30 every night.
Every night?
Every night.
Out of shape?
Offensively.
Yeah, but he's never, but Rick,
that's desire.
But we also,
that's mentality, right?
We also knew when we traded for Luka that he was going to have gravy boots.
No,
we knew that as a defensive player, he was going to be stuck on the floor.
Paul just said it correctly. Playing defense is all want to, man.
That's true.
It's all want to. Either I want to or I don't want to.
And at times, he has shown with the Lakers that he bought in onto some 1-2 at times. Even last night, they ran around a couple times last night that made you go, okay, they look like they doing something.
That's hard to sustain throughout the course of
a whole game.
Yeah, because when you start getting fatigued, you're like, well, I'm going to save it for the offensive end. You know, and that's what we've seen from Luka since he's pretty much been in the league. Now, it looked better when he first got there because the energy of the newness of it. I'm on a new team. I'm a hustle. And then everything settled in. And now it's just like, all right, Luka's realizing this is his team. And what it looks like to me, it looks like they're taking on the personality of Luka. That's what it's like. Since when LeBron went, you know,
missed those 7 games.
He missed those games. It was Luka's squad. So now they're like, all right, Luka got comfortable. He started getting to a rhythm, and he's like, all right, this is how we got to play. They won some games, too, when Luka was out, when LeBron was out.
That's true.
So now it's like.
But those games that they won, though, when we won them little 3 games,
yeah,
them was all the same teams. In Phoenix and San Antonio, them was all the same teams.
But you know, they felt like this is the formula. They felt like this is the formula. And then Brown comes back, and LeBron is not all the way back, you can tell. I mean, those 3 games, and usually, you know, 2 weeks off is not a lot for an injury. You still, I mean, after Brown played about 60-plus games, 2 weeks is not enough time for you to get out of shape. Brown looks like he's still ailing from whatever his injury was, and you know, his legs is not quite under him because if you can see, like, LeBron don't just make lazy passes like this. It just looks like fatigue, the injury, some things are, I don't know. Or maybe old age is catching up.
You know, TJ, I feel like if we don't fix the defense, though, figure it out and fix it, we're going to be one and done.
It's a problem.
That's how I feel because there's too many defensive liabilities that's on the floor for us, not just with age and effort, just overall. Sure. It's almost like, I don't know. And when I look at Luka, I don't expect for Luka to come in and all of a sudden be Gary Payton locked down. No, I don't expect that at all. I didn't expect it. We saw it in Denver. They isolated on him. I mean, in Dallas, they isolated on him in the playoffs last year. But they said, pick a straw. You know how we used to do the corners? You want him, I want him. Who want him? And that's the way they treated Luka. To me, even last night.
I feel like they treated LeBron like that now.
Yeah.
I feel like they're doing that with the last few games.
We talk about, look, things have changed. What has happened, when Luka first got to the Lakers, LeBron had the ball more. Austin Reeves had the ball. So he was able to rest a little bit on offense. Now that he has the ball more and he's dribbling the air out of it so much, he's fatiguing himself, so he doesn't have that energy on the defensive side of the ball. So we got to go back to him at times sitting in the corner. You conserving energy. Okay, Brian, you dictate the offense. You run offense now. Okay, Austin Reeves, now you run offense. So now Luka can conserve his energy on the defensive end because we got to defend the three-point line better. Chicago Bulls made 19 threes just last night. 19? Josh Giddey went 4 for 9. I thought Josh Giddey wasn't a shooter.
He's not.
He went 4 for 9 against us.
But here's the other thing you have to consider is that look at the team that Dallas, that Luka took to the finals last year.
Yeah.
They made moves
Kyrie
to get the right defensive players around him.
They sure did.
They were not a title contending team until they got Daniel Gafford, until they drafted Derek Lively. They got Derek Jones Jr., they got P.J. Washington. Like, they put a bunch of defensive cats around him that were good with, we got to do all the defense.
Man, we got to just take Luke off the ball then and conserve some of this energy.
But the problem is if he's not going to come off the ball because when he get it, you ain't getting it back. It's like AAU. When I tell my son, he be talking about, they won't let me. You know, that AAU, they won't give it back to me. You the idiot that's taking it out of bounds. Let them take it out and give it to you. And you got it.
That's the problem right there.
You got to go catch one of these AAU games. I got to see it just for that dynamic.
No, that's the truth, though.
The Lakers look like AAU then. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying you were expecting to get the basketball back from a Luka, it ain't happening. He gonna dribble. He gonna put you in the popcorn machine and then go back at you again and then put you in a position of defending like he did last night because he's dribbling too much.
Well, the problem is, like, it works. It's working now for 3 quarters. It's been working. Lakers built up big leads. You know what I'm saying?
And then they lose them.
They built up big leads for Chicago. Like, that's working, but, like, the game changes in the 4th quarter. You know, it's like coaches make adjustments. Like, they're not going to allow certain things. and this happens in the playoffs. And so they got to make the adjustment. The Lakers, like when they first made the trade, the ball movement was there. It was popping.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They went away from that. So, it's something little, but it can be big for the Lakers. But, like I said, they supposed to win both of these last 2 games. Like, this was a bad loss, and the Indiana game should have never came down to a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
To be all realistic. So the Lakers aren't far off. They just have to play.
We're all right.
They just have to play more consistent in the more crucial stretches.
Look, I haven't forgotten our conversation. Our conversation was they're going up against these young guns, and they're going to run them,
That's
and that
tough.
might be a problem.
They get tired.
It's the way they lost.
Yeah.
You get to a last possession game, a possession-by-possession game, and you have Luka Doncic and LeBron James, you're the veteran team.
Yeah.
Those are not the games that you're supposed to lose.
No.
Or it to even come down the way that it did, where you got a last-second tip in.
So
that's what happened.
So, Paul, did me and TJ get ahead of our skis by saying that the Lakers we going to be all right, basically? Did we jump the gun?
No, I don't think you guys jumped the gun because I truly believe that, you got to rest Bron, I think. I think you can't fall out of the play-in. I said.
Why do you keep thinking we're going to fall into the play-in?
Well, because the schedule is brutal.
Last 9 games, forecast the wins for us.
All right, if I had to forecast this win, I would say you got to find some way to get this Memphis game. They're going through some turmoil.
They fired their coach.
Houston.
Got to get it.
I mean, the guys, this is going to be the 6th game in 7 nights when you see Houston at home and you're traveling. That's going to be a tough one to get. And then you got because you guys are playing every other day the rest of the season or back-to-back. This is brutal right now.
We got 2 days off after
There's
Houston.
no 2 days off.
Yeah. We play Monday, and then we play the Warriors on
You
Thursday.
got 2 games, and then you play the Warriors.
So
we got
Warriors,
Tuesday, Wednesday off.
you got to find a way to get that game. I think you could get the Warriors. I think you could get the Pelicans. I don't see you getting OKC either game.
We'll get one of those.
So we
don't
gonna get
think
swept at OKC?
I think so. You can get the Mavericks, even though AD is back versus
And
Houston.
that's going to be an emotional game, boy.
I
mean,
see we
maybe-
going 6-3 down the stretch. We going 6-3.
I gotta say, I got us clipping Memphis, clipping Houston,
Me too.
clipping Golden State.
I'm with you.
Clipping New Orleans.
I'm with you.
Losing to OKC.
I'm with you.
Clipping OKC. Clipping Dallas.
We on the
Guys
same
just
page.
lost to the Bulls twice.
We on the
All
same.
these teams are
I'm
better than them.
I'm with him.
You know what? Yeah, but you just sat here and just told me and
I
TJ
saw the Bulls
and
put
Rick.
up 140 on y'all in LA.
We about to lock in.
Can we get back to the question? The question is, were you guys ahead of you? You're still ahead of yourself. My God.
I truly believe, though, but at the end of the day, I truly believe that, if the Lakers just stay in the, 4 or 5 range and they're healthy and you can find a way to rest LeBron down the stretch in a playoff series, because that's what I'm judging the Lakers off of, in a playoff series.
You thought we should have rested. And Rick, I believe you said the same thing.
I thought you should have rested tonight.
Both of them last night.
I do.
Yeah, I think Paul.
So the fact
suggested
that,
it,
so let's
I
say
could
we did
understand
rest
why.
them and we
Because
lost.
now you got
Then
one.
what? Y'all wouldn't be
And
sitting
then
up
you're
here
going to go
saying
all
that.
in at Memphis.
We
You know
going
what I'm
all
saying?
in at Memphis anyway.
I mean, you got to now. You know what I'm saying?
This is the problem. Is that you are now 1-2 on the trip, and you said it was going to be what?
2-2.
What'd you say? No.
3-1. He said
Yeah,
3-1.
five?
I said
I said 2-2.
I
And
said
dude,
3-1.
You were.
No, I said 2-2.
But we gonna make up for it on the back end. We going 6-3.
All right.
But I'm saying you guys say that we should have rested them last night.
I thought that was a schedule loss because you just had a hard-fought game, went down to the buzzer, and then you go into a back-to-back in Chicago. Usually you tired, even though it wasn't a long flight. It was just
they played 37, 38
Yeah,
minutes
you played
the
a
night
lot of
before.
minutes, so I would have at least rested LeBron. Maybe played Luka, because I think Luka's good enough. Luka's good enough to carry your team to a win for one night without LeBron. And now they're both.
They didn't have Rui last night, right?
No, Rui didn't play.
Yeah.
He didn't play.
And that's a key.
So
They
if you
couldn't
don't have
afford-
LeBron, then
Yeah.
you gotta have Rui.
Right,
And Rui's still
exactly.
dealing, I think, with a knee issue.
Speaking of the Memphis Grizzlies, now some of the craziest news, breaking news of the day, the Grizzlies parted ways with their head coach Taylor Jenkins today. With only 9 games left, Jenkins had been with Memphis since 2019 and led the team to 3 postseason appearances with 1 series win. Grizzlies are currently the 5th seed in the West. Rick, what does this do for the Memphis Grizzlies?
It is. I was just going through my text messages to people around the league when I first heard this broke, because nobody saw it coming, and it was beyond crazy, out of left
Crazy.
field. Nobody can quite explain why they made this decision now. The timing of it is inexplicable, and I've never seen it happen. I've never seen a team that is on the verge of not only having to play a really important game this weekend as far as their playoff positioning, but you are fighting and capable of getting home court advantage for the playoffs, and you're going to fire your coach now without the heir apparent being an obvious choice.
Yeah, when
like if J.J. Redick was, flailing and you had Scotty Brooks and Nate McMillan there, you go,
say, okay,
we get it, right? Like you got the veteran there. That isn't there with Taylor Jenkins. So
I'm not sure this has anything to do with his coaching.
I don't think it can't.
It can't, right?
It can't.
No, it's so crazy though, Paul. When I first heard it too,
I thought it was fake news.
no, I didn't think it was fake news.
I thought it was one of them, because social media. It's like I thought this was a fake. They making it up. Like,
no, when I heard it though, the first thing I said to producer Nick, I said, "Is there bodies in his basement somewhere?" Like what usually a coach get fired in this type of situation. He would get fired 10 games into the season.
Yeah.
Not 9 games in the 5th seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They would fire you after you lose in the playoffs and say, bye-bye. Not right now.
And I've had no indication that there's an issue. Normally you would think, okay, there's an issue between the coach and the best player on the team, John Morant.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jaren Jackson Jr. I have had no indication that there are any issues.
But even then, we're talking, Paul, 9 games left with the 5th seed.
And you could possibly go all the way up to the third.
That's
to the third seed.
You basically are trying to sabotage your season by doing this, because now, if it's nothing to do with Ja, none of the top players, TJ, you're sitting back as a player on the team saying, well, why the hell they get rid of coach? What are we doing?
Dysfunctional teams do dumb things. And that's all this can point to. The Memphis Grizzlies have a good young team. All last year during the playoffs, all everybody talked about was how great of a coach Taylor Jenkins was. Like, that's all they talk. Oh, man, he's just a great coach. They're a team on the rise. And you fire him with 9 games left? There's some underlying issues that we don't know about, because this makes no sense whatsoever. Losing the playoffs, we're going to fire him.
Let's go, Rick.
Do it now?
Start digging, Rick. Let's go. We need that info.
No.
Let's go.
I'm working on it.
You're not working fast enough.
I will say this.
Let's go.
Organizationally, when I look at the way they handled the Ja Morant situation last year, they weren't in control of it. The league had to step in and say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to handle it.
Same thing they kind of handled with Brooks, the way things kind of happened.
And you look at Dylan Brooks now in Houston versus what he was in Memphis, right? Like, this to me does not point to Taylor Jenkins. This points to how that organization operates.
Well, this is what we needed. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.